Hello everyone. Today we are going to present about a budget program. The problem that we make this program is because we would like to manage our budget properly. So we try to make a program that can help us manage it. With our program, you can create your own budget category such as food, transportation, or any other thing you would like to create. You would have to put on your fixed cost, then after that put on the money that you have spent. So the program can help you calculate it, and you can also look at the history. It will show what you have spent, the percentage of usage, and budget balance. So I will pass this to May and let her show you how the program works and put on more of the detail.
Thank you, Jasmine. So next I will talk about how to our project work. This is introduction and our project purpose, and this is how to use our program, like how to use budget planner. And if you want to start, must please enter and you will see what would you like to do. If I type another choice like ace, it's gonna be work like A, you must be type A, B, or C. And if I choose B, check a budget, and then it will ask what budget would you like to check. If I choose A, it's gonna be you haven't create a full budget yet because we didn't create. And if I choose A, what is your budget for? And I choose A food, and you enter budget amount for a week, like 1,000. And then it asks me, what do you want to do with your food budget? And if I choose A, input transaction, enter expense like 500, you will see a balance your budget here. And then I will choose B, view budget overview, and you will see your percentage and your balance. And then see another chart like C and D is gonna be if I choose C, which budget would you like to check? If I choose another chart like 1, 2, 3, it's gonna be press enter either A, B, C, or D. And then if I choose B, which is we didn't create this topic yet, is you haven't created a transportation budget yet, and it's gonna return to this menu. And if I choose A, input budget input transaction again, and if I type no, it's gonna be invalid input, and it's gonna be ask me to do it again, and like 2,000. And if it might be, oh no, you have overspent your food budget for this week, like this, and then it will return to this menu again. And if I choose E, make another budget like C, personal care, and it will be enter budget amount again like 1,000, 10,000, and then I will choose A and enter expense 400, and it will be here again. And if I choose D, check all budget made, it's gonna be yes, two type budget for personal care, your balance, and your percentage usage. And then FX budget planner, like it's gonna be end of our program. Like thank you for using budget planner, and if you want to start it again, you must please enter. Thank you.
Our code has 4 classes: a budget planner class, a category class, and custom exception class like no budget exception and overspend budget exception class. In our category class, we apply encapsulation and information hiding from the class's concept. This class holds the property of the budget in private and protect variables such as budget name, budget balance, previous expense, which holds the expense the user entered, and fixed budget, which holds the set budget value. The toString method will show each budget information. We also made getter and setter of each of their variable. We use the concept of inheritance in our budget planner class. By having it extends the category class, by doing this, we are able to use it protect variable. We initialize the category object that we named food, transport, lifestyle, and entertainment. Next, we apply the collection concept by create an array list of category object called category list, and here we use the input and output concept by importing the scanner class to get user input. The exception include the new budget exception and the overspend budget exception. The new budget exception will be caught if user try to check a budget that hasn't been made. It will then display a warning message. In the overspending budget exception, it will be caught if users spend all the money in their budget and tell the user how much they have overspent.
Now let's talk about the methods. The first method is the end-start method. This method throws the no budget exception and instructs users to press enter to start the program, which then calls the start method. Our second method is the start method, which is surrounded by a while loop labeled outer loop. It asks users what they would like to do from a list of choices. Next, it takes in the user's input and sets it to option. With the switch case, we determine in case A, it will call the create budget method. In case B, we use the try-catch concept. Here, it will try to call the check budget method. If the null budget exception is caught, it will display an error. Otherwise, if the overspent budget exception is caught, it will tell the users they've overspent this budget. In case C, it will call the check all budget method. And if the users input anything else, it will display an error message and repeat the while loop. Next is the show option method, which simply displays our predetermined budget categories for users to choose from and then take in the user's input. Next is the create budget method, which asks users to choose their budget categories. Using a switch case, we set each of the categories objects to their specific budget names and add them to the categories list. Next, we have another while loop and try catch block, where we ask the users to input a weekly budget amount, which is then set to the variable fixed budget. Through another switch case, we set the fixed budget and budget balance to the user's inputs. If the user's input is not a double, the input mismatch exception will be called and display an invalid input error and iterate through the while loop. Lastly, it will call the show action menu method. The show action menu method is surrounded by a while loop that will repeat if option is not null. This method lets users choose what actions they would like to perform with their budgets. Again, we have a switch case. If A is chosen, it would ask the users to input their expense using the calculate expense method. Next, the get percentage use and show budget balance method is called and breaks from the while loop, and the input mismatch exception and overspent budget exception can be caught. If B is chosen, it would try to call the show budget balance method and the show percentage use method, but it can also catch the overspent budget exception. If C is chosen, the check budget method will be called, and it could also be caught by the no budget exception and the overspent budget exception. If D is chosen, it will call the check all budget method and then call the show action menu method itself. If E is chosen, the create budget method will be called. If F is chosen, it will display the outro message and call the end start method to restart the program. If methods or exceptions break from the switch case, it will loop through the entire show action menu method again. Next, we have a check budget method. This method lets users check and perform actions on an individual budget. Firstly, it asks the users which budgets they would like to check. If the fixed budget is equal to 0, it would define the no budget exception and tells the users they haven't created this budget yet. Else, if the budget balance is less than 0, it will define the overspent budget exception. If not any of these conditions, it will reset the budget name variable and call the show action menu method. Afterwards, we have the check all budget method, which allows users to view the status of all their budgets they created so far. Here we use the for each loop that loops through each object in this categories list. It checks the object's budget balance and displays the budget information accordingly. But if the categories list is empty, it will tell users they haven't created any budgets. Next is a show budget balance. Again, we use a switch case, and within each case, if the budget hasn't been overspent, it will tell users the current budget balance. Otherwise, it will define the overspent budget exception. After that, we have our get percentage use method, which calculates how much percent the budget has been used. The show percentage used then displays the percentage with 2 decimals. Next is our calculate expense method. It takes in a parameter called amounts and calculates the remaining balance. Finally, at the end of the budget planner class is our main method, which prints out the program's introductions, instructions, and here we initialize a budget planner object called budget and call its end start method that starts the program. That will be the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention.